So I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I already recorded this video once, but I thought instead of it being like a list of units, I would just narrow it down to top 5. And what am I talking about? I am of course talking about the top 5 units you should be saving for in GS moving forward into 2020. Now I did this earlier in the year for the ninjas and stuff to say who to save for with the ninja saga, but of course we're already completely through with the ninjas and we're moving on to soon to be Cross the Blaze, Sacred Union, all that type of stuff. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. Now, real quick, I do want to say that pretty much every single unit that is coming out from Cross the Blaze, I've looked at them, and to be honest, I think most of them are luxury units. I know some people may be like, oh, Lisa may be considered a meta unit that everybody needs, or Sistina, but most of them, I feel like you can get away with not getting if you don't want to go for them. But of course, I know some of you guys want to save up for the big powerhouses, the big boys and girls. Speaking of that, we're actually going to go ahead and start with the number 5 spot, which will actually be releasing very soon on JP and Global. What, a simultaneous release? OP, what are you talking about? And that is my girl Usurpa. She is actually coming back finally. It's been years, literally, since the year 1 of Global Grand Summoners since she's been here. This girl may be little, but she packs a lot of power in her, let me tell you. By power, I mean supporting capabilities. She is an amazing support unit for any team to have because she is actually the complete opposite of what Mako is. Mako is a hyper offensive crossover support that GS has, while Usurpa is literally the hyper defensive support that GS has to offer, you know, of course, to their crossover. It's probably the most limited unit on the list though, because she's only going to be here for the period of the crossover and then she'll be gone. But this unit is a unit that is absolutely a must get. She gives you tons of art gauge, 100% defense up. She has equipment CT down, break power up, and I think skill CT recovery on her true art, which is pretty solid. Her slots are amazing, by the way. They actually got buffed in JP to where now she has a 5-star physical, 5-star support, and a 5-star defense. That just made her so much stronger. So definitely recommend picking up this unit. This unit will be dropping probably within the next month or 2 on Global, and it's actually just coming out on JP probably. It's actually probably already out, or it's going to be coming out in a week or 2. Now we're going to the next bit of our list. We're actually going to be coming in with a fire nuker, Angelus. She packs a punch, man, and she actually has a unique mechanic called Dragon Flame Count. Every time you use your skill or your normal art, you increase your Dragon Flame Count by either 1 if you're using skill, or by 3 if you're using normal. Once you have 5 stacks, which is the max stacks you can get for Dragon Flame Count, you decrease the enemy's fire resist by the number of Dragon Flame Counts times 5%. That equates to 25% flame resist down. And then not only this, you apply huge burn to them. It is a ridiculous amount of burn. It doesn't stop right there. Her Dragon Flame Count goes into her true art modifier. You will deal 80,000% damage with her true art. That is insane. She is a really cool nuker and I definitely want to try her out. I don't know how meta she'll be, but I think she is a very strong fire attacker that you may want to pick up. Moving on to our number 3 spot. This is a dark unit that I want because I think he looks cool as hell and he has a really dope kit. And that is the man Luan. Luan is a dark crit buffer that actually doesn't really need to be on mono dark to function. Very self-sufficient unit. He's able to give himself 30 art gauge, and if his skill crits, he's able to give himself an additional 20 art gauge. He also has a unique mechanic, which is bleed, which I think he's one of the first units that's actually able to do this. Every time you use your normal art, you will inflict a stack of bleed, which can stack all the way up to a max of 3 stacks, which reduces the enemy's damage resist by 3% per stack. Luan also is increasing his own arts by 20 upon using true art, and then for 15 seconds, he's increasing all allies' critical rate by 100%. And then moving on to his passive abilities, his passive is where I think he becomes a really strong crit buffer, because he's able to give everybody 30% more crit damage just by him being on the team. He's increasing his damage to enemies with 2 or more stacks of bleed by 100%, and he's healing his own HP by 1% of the damage dealt to enemies with 3 stacks of bleed. And you'd be like, 1% OP, that's garbage. You may think that's garbage, but whenever units are out here hitting for 1,000,000 damage, that full heals you. But overall though, Luan's gonna be a cool unit to use. Definitely, I think, going to be a staple for some people's teams. And then also, if you want to know too, he is a CTB unit, meaning that he is a Cross the Blaze unit, and he has a dual attack arts. And Chloe is a free unit that you can get by just doing her quests once this unit comes out. But if you want to do that and you are all into dual attacks and everything, definitely run Chloe and Luan on the same team. It's gonna be a lot of fun. Now, our number 2 spot for me personally is tied between 2 units, which I'm going to put them both here because I think they're equally as hype to get. So the first one is Lisa, but this witch girl is a beast, man. She's able to reduce the enemy's magic resist with her skill. She's able to increase all allies' arts by 4 per second with her normal art. She is type B, however, so keep that in mind. If you don't know about arts gen types, link to that video at the end of this video. Her true art, however, is pretty strong with a whopping 30,000% light damage magic, and you're also increasing your allies' equipment CT speeds by 50%, and you're also reducing the enemy's light and magic resist by 35%. And then I think the most wildest part about her though is her passive. Her passive is each time own equipment is used, you gain a majesty stack for that equipment, which stacks to a maximum of 6 times. Mind you, you can do this for every piece of equipment that you have on her. This will instantly recover 5% times the number of majesty stacks of that relevant equipment CT after they are used up to 30%. So I think she's going to be really strong in that regard. She's going to be able to speed up a lot of different equipment. But yeah, Lisa comes in the number 2 spot, and there's another unit that comes in the number 2 spot, which is of course Juno. Now Juno just actually came out very recently on JP, and she comes packing a pretty solid kit, I'm not gonna lie. She's able to hero her own HP with her skill. Her normal art reduces the enemy's damage resist by 30% and status resist by 20%. She activates Demonic True Eclipse, which will last until she reaches 20% HP. When you use her true art during Demonic True Eclipse, she will deal 52,000% dark damage magic. For 15 seconds you consume 2% of your own HP, and you increase allies arts by 7 per second. Not only this, during Demonic True Eclipse, she's increasing her own art gauge by 5 per second and her own damage and accuracy by 100%. And she wants to be used with other demons, more so probably the Blood Knights, and she'll be increasing demon ally stats by 10%, and she also increases her own attack by the number of demon allies that are on the teams. But yeah, Juno comes in this number 2 spot. For one, the artwork looks amazing, let me say. I really do love her art, and I think she's definitely a unit that lives up to the hype, in my opinion. And then of course, coming at the number 1 spot, this shouldn't surprise anyone, man. This really shouldn't, and it's our girl Sistina. Sistina is able to reduce the enemy's accuracy with her skill. She's able to increase allies arts by 20 with her normal art, and also give everybody a damage bearer that negates 3k damage, which is really good. It gives you a lot of sustain on your team. Not only this, her true art increases all allies damage by 100% and reduces the enemy's damage resist by 30%. And then Sistina's passives are pretty solid. You're able to increase all allies max HP by 10%. You're also increasing damage to giant bosses by 50%. And when you are near death, you increase your arts by 200, and for 15 seconds you enter Majesty. Majesty increases your own damage by 100% and can only activate once per quest. However, if you have Sistina's true weapon on her, now you are able to increase arts by 2 per second, plus during Majesty you increase arts damage by an additional 150%. Does not stack with abilities of the same name, so you're getting 100% damage up and 150% arts damage up when Sistina is near death, which is really strong. The only thing missing from her is she needs some crit chance, but guess what? She's an earth unit and she works perfectly with the Holy Trinity. And that is actually all of the units that are coming out that are worth the top 5. There are some units I didn't mention that I wanted to that are dropping as well, but I didn't think they're worth talking about right now. We'll wait till we of course get to them to cross that bridge. These guys should be coming out within the next 6 to 8 months on global. Of course, they're all already out on JP. Hopefully you guys save up, try to get these units, because there's gonna be a lot of crazy stuff happening in global over the next few months. So I wish you guys the best of luck, and don't forget to like, comment, subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and last but not least, man, don't forget to drink water.